We're going to talk more coming up here. We'll focus on New York officials saying that massive cyber outage was not an attack, certainly, as the congressman says, certainly an inconvenience, though. We've seen businesses, we've seen banks, we've seen all the airports, again, or a lot of them around the world, still reeling from all of this, blue screen of death. Now, consumers, members of Congress, all feeling the brunt. So what happened? What's the risk to national security?
Sharon saved her supply chain from cyber risk and ended the office goat debate.
Katie Arrington is here with more on this. She's the Vice President for Government Affairs at the risk management firm Exiger, also former Chief Information Security Officer for the Undersecretary of Defense. So welcome. Boy, you know, it's one thing they say, all right, it's not a cyber attack, but it's still a big deal for a lot of people, including that member of Congress who couldn't get a flight out of the convention in Milwaukee. What are we learning today about how we can avoid something like this in the future?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. And Exiger, we appreciate the opportunity to talk to the American public. Listen, CrowdStrike is an amazing company. I need everybody to understand that right off the bat. They have done a fantastic job. They've been a partner for many companies for many years. But what we really need to understand in this event is how vulnerable we really are. No, this was not a malicious cyber attack, but understand one company, one vendor could affect so many different companies, agencies, countries, et cetera. I preached this from the Pentagon when we created something called the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification. Every company needs to understand who your vendors are and how disparate they are around the world. So this instance should wake America up. And I hope that the White House and I hope that many others look at this and realize if we don't have some type of auditing systems of companies and their processes and policies around cyber, IT, and updating, this can happen in a more catastrophic way.
Well, we don't have that? We don't have auditing systems like that?
No, actually, we do not. You can do continuous monitoring, and a lot of people do that. But the government has, we haven't implemented the CMMC. In fact, it isn't even law yet. That's something that's due to happen later this year, hopefully. Wow. But what we need to do is set up more standards that can be audited by companies like myself, where we actually go through and we look at the software bill of materials and we ensure that they have the right processes. What
about the fix? I keep reading that, my understanding, limited obviously in the technology. Not many of us understand all the technology, but my thought would have been, all right, well, this happened, shouldn't have happened, it was a mistake. Now they can put a fix out, it'll be fixed. But the way I was reading about it is that it's not that simple, because you would have to restart or reboot every single computer individually, which seems that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. But why is that the case?
We're still working through that. But, when it happened, I got woken up about 2:15 this morning with the first entity calling me and asking me, Katie, what's a blue screen? Why are we seeing a blue screen? And the challenge set is, we run in disparate systems. And even though a patch can go through to one person, if you haven't updated your system, you don't get the update. So each individual entity, a computer, a laptop, your phone, you'd have to turn it on and restart after the mainframe or the administrator did.
Is that just is that a CrowdStrike thing, do you think, or if that's just the way it is? I mean, it just seems like we should be beyond that, or maybe not.
Your phone, your iPhone, for example, when you get an update, it says you need to update. Well, they've pushed the update until you actually do the update. It doesn't take. So it took everybody going down to bring it back up. But the thing that I am curious to see, and I think America should pay attention to this, this is the start of something, people. Understand, if we're this vulnerable by one flawed patch, are we really prepared? And I hope that we take, this time as a moment. I've been saying the Great Awakening when it comes to in IT and how interconnected we are. Look and make sure that the people that you're doing business with are trusted. This CrowdStrike, once again, I'm going to say, they are a phenomenal company.
Right. So that wouldn't have helped us here if we thought that, right? In this case, it wouldn't have helped. You would have said, this is the best in the business, you're telling me.
They really are. And when it can happen to them, it can happen to anybody. So you need to make sure that you're doing the right processes and policies every single day. A single individual incorrectly creating a patch is devastating to the planet. Look what's happening. This is a global outage, the largest IT outage we've ever had. So I'm hoping that we take this as a learning moment, and that we look that we do need standards. We do need third-party audits. We need companies to come in and take a look at the way you're doing things to make sure you're doing things in the most effective and safe manner. Another side would be, and our adversaries are always looking, and I keep trying to explain to Americans every day.
Right.
The adversary looks for a moment of weakness. So people, please take this. Make sure that when you just restart your computers, you reboot, you've updated your antivirus, you've gone through all the protocols, because you're just as vulnerable
Right.
if you don't do that as before the patch.
We should learn something because, Russia's learning and Iran's learning and China's learning from all this. All right, Katie Arrington, very important. We appreciate your expertise. Thanks for coming on.